Hello. I thought I'd do another breakdown of a very short clip. It's part of an ongoing series, longest running science fiction series, called Doctor Who. It was originally screened in 1963, 1 week before the JFK assassination. At the time, the pilot series was intended to run for 13 episodes, never sort of realising how successful that story would be, and sort of very much a pioneer of the science fiction television world. But is it? I suggest it is far more. Now, what I want to look at, and I'm going to put the link in the description to this, is a very short sketch where the Doctor regenerates from his 5th incarnation to his 6th incarnation. Why that one in particular? Because it's one of those things that sort of comes into the mind. It's like a prompt. I shared the actual clip as a community post some time ago with no real sort of explanation, but I thought we'd look into it a little bit deeper. So in this story, the Doctor goes through, it was originally 13 regenerations, so he physically changes, has a different personality, but it is still the Doctor, still this Time Lord. Part of the prompting for this was the video. It's 3 hours long, but it's one I will recommend probably above everything else, and that is the Language Lessons of the Heart with Michael Harrell. I took part in a chat, but most of it is Michael Harrell talking about this Language Lessons of the Heart, and Julia has done this. I've sort of done it without realising I'd done it, as it were, but sort of pretty much get to the same point. There's more than one road into all these things. A case in point would be Jason of Archaic's channel. He denied the 5 external senses, turned inwards and immersed himself in this chronicon. And I'm going to reiterate what I've spoken to with Julia today. She's going to release the video on her channel, Simplicity Reveal, where I chat to her about the external that comes with when you take that leap into the unknown, and you'll get the anxiety, the depression, the ringing in the ears, the night sweats, and various other things that you will feel physically. And basically it is just a communication from the physical body, because you're now stepping into the unknown. So you've got to learn what this communication is saying to you, but it comes out in a particular way that the system will teach you is something to be fearful and something to be negative. I speak here from experience of coming out of depression, of coming out of anxiety, of coming out of panic attacks, coming out of night sweats. I've still got ringing in the ears. It's going on right now. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, shall we say. I am a living proof of it, that you can come out of depression, you can come out of anxiety. You can pull yourself through these things. When it happens, generally it's because it is new. Like with a panic attack, you don't even realise you're having a panic attack. It's only afterwards you think, oh, that was a panic attack I experienced. It's very frightening. It feels like you're suffocating in that moment. A lot of this is perspective. Once you understand what is happening, what is being communicated from the external, what the physical body, what you are picking up, you are basically an antenna, you are a magnet. So you open yourself up, well, of course you're going to feel more. But don't dwell on the fear aspect of it. Don't dwell on the negative aspect. It's not always clear any more than the story is clear when you're reading a book. But when you come to the end of the chapter, you think, that's why that happened in that story. But now we're writing our own story. And I've gone off on a tangent. So we go to this scene. We're moving from the Fifth Doctor. This is more evidence of esoteric meaning being shown to you by the system through science fiction. There is no fiction to it at all. And it is right down to the actors' names. So the Fifth Doctor was played by an actor called Peter Davison. So straight away, Peter, Petra, rock, solid foundation on which you build. He was the Fifth Doctor. It represents your 5 senses. There is only one character in this short clip, although there appears to be 2 or maybe more. But anyway, Peter, so you've got a foundation, a cornerstone on which to build. In the Peter, Peter is your rock. See how this goes into biblical as well. Now Davison is a derivative of David's son. Now I can switch to what Neville Goddard says when he talks about his birth from above experience, and you are faced with David, who is the son, who calls you father. King Solomon's mine, the mind is the mine, the gold. You're looking for the gold within oneself. And when the son tells you, addresses you as father, you know who you are. The son will look just like you. So that's what Peter Davison, the name, represents. There's no coincidences to any of this. The character in that story, I didn't look at the actress's name, I forgot to do that. But the character, the associate, is called Perry. It's a prefix meaning around, near, surrounding, covering, or enclosing. It is talking about the outer body. It is basically the same that has been done with the Bible. It is anthropomorphized into individual separate characters, but this is all something that is going on within oneself. The Peri, it means, it's from Persian mythology, it means a supernatural being from fallen angels, excluded from paradise until repentance is achieved. Sorry, I couldn't read, my writing is so small on the... I've scribbled it at the very bottom of the page. And the Doctor, which is your inner essence, your true self, sacrifices himself and gives the last of this antidote in the story to Perry, to save Perry. Perry is your witness. I peer, appear I. It's what you're witnessing. It's appearing. So now this Fifth Doctor, this incarnation as this Fifth Doctor regenerates. You'll notice you've got the golden light, and then you've got this new face. This new character comes into being with a very different personality, but it is the same Time Lord. This is what Michael Harrell talks about. You are a Time Lord. When you do that language lessons of the heart, you go back. You become a Time Lord. You go back into your past. You rewrite the story. You play it out again, so that school bully is no longer a school bully. You change the script. You become a Jew. A Jew, but the definition of what a Jew is someone who is in service of God. That is what its true definition is. And in this reality, where you have rewrites and rewrites of scriptures, you are now becoming that rewriter. You are overwriting with a far better script of your life story. That is what you are writing. You are creating your own story. You are editing it. You are rewriting it into a far better story. You become a Time Lord when you do this language lessons of the heart. So we move on to this Sixth Doctor. Now, the actor that plays the Sixth Doctor, it also references the third eye, the Christ consciousness. The actor's name is Colin Baker. So I did a quick skim of the internet for the answers to the meanings of this. Colin it means a young man of the victorious people. What people are we talking about here? We're talking about all the characters, all the personalities that are within you. When you do that rewrite, when you go back in your own history and you rewrite your life story. It has a gematria value of 196. 1 and 9 and 6 is 16, which equates to 7. And it has a numerical value of 7. It is a divine number. It is a symbol of completion. The main origin of the word Colin or Cullen or Colleen is Gaelic. Gaelic Galilee, same thing. Just been played out in a historical story. Basically, Europe is the promised land from the perspective of the Americas. If you know, in a vapor canopy world, you can read the astrology, you're more advanced. You've been promised a land the other side of the Atlantic where you can escape to in ships to get away from this devastation in this reset. You are also resetting yourself when you regenerate. You break the pattern with the past, but of course the story carries on. Now the surname of the actor Colin Baker, Baker or Baxter, which is the Scottish derivative, it's according to the internet, it's an Anglo-Saxon name thought to have come from the Scottish border region, meaning to dry with heat. A reference again to the sun, a purification. But taken as an occupational surname, a baker, you are creating something. You are bringing something into a physical reality when you bake a cake, for example. You put the ingredients together and it rises in the oven. It dries with the heat and rises. And then it's something you can share. Now, interestingly, Colin Baker, playing that character, takes it very much back round to the first incarnation of William Hartnell, in which he plays what is described as an anti-hero. He is playing all the parts. As this regeneration is going on, while it is still Peter Davison, before he morphs into Colin Baker, you have all these characters from his past whizzing round, memories coming up, and then you've got the alter ego, your shadow side, which is the master who says, "Yes, die, Doctor, you must die," and laughs. It is your shadow side, but again, that is also guiding you to regenerate. You reinvent yourself. So Colin Baker comes into being as Doctor Number 6. And Perry, who is witnessing this, says to the Doctor, "Doctor, what is happening? I," and where she's stuttering in shock at what she is witnessing. And Colin Baker just sits up and says, "That's 3 eyes in one sentence." Well, you have 3 eyes. Again, it is an esoteric reference. You sound like a very egotistical young lady. And she says, "What is happening?" And he sort of looks at the camera and says, "Change, my dear." And it would seem not a moment too soon. It is said with a wry smile. It is said direct at the screen. It is almost menacing. The actor Colin Baker actually plays these parts very well, where he's this anti-hero, sort of not always coming across pleasant, but the intentions are. And it is never a moment too soon to regenerate yourself. Now, I've sent Yolanda of True Love Channel a 38-minute compilation of all the regenerations. There is so much in these, and I really hope that she's far better at doing this analysing of these little clips and what they reveal, this is all part of this removing of the veil. The first step is when you become disillusioned with the external world. You dissolve the illusion of what we've been told, how to think, what this world is, what this reality is. You start to see things in a different way. You open yourself up to new experiences that are going to seem very strange. So don't be surprised if you get these night sweats. You get the ringing in the ears, you get the anxiety, you get the depression, you get the panic attacks. But when you can shift your perspective to see that they are still there to help you, it is just a communication from the body that is in a new way. It's speaking in a language that we haven't really got the understanding of when we take that leap into the unknown and decide, this reality is not how I've been told. I want to step into the unknown, and we really do, and don't realise what is going to come from it. And these are some of the external side effects. You will feel things physically through this. You are not just the avatar. You are made up of 4 parts, as Michael Harrell says, and as Rudolf Steiner says. You can apply whatever label to those 4 parts, whatever you see that fits you. You could even say 4 seasons. You go through this cycle continuously every 18, 19 months. Every cell in your physical avatar has renewed. You are not the same external being. You are continuously regenerating, just like the Doctor Who. And that is exactly what we are all here for, to find out who we truly are. That is I am. Finding the I am within each of us individually. You can't find it by someone telling you it. You cannot find it by looking externally at anything. If you proclaim it, you'll see history repeat out, because those that a lot that you would say it to will automatically, if you say, I am a son of man, you'll be met by characters that will automatically take on the role of the rabbis and say, you're not. They will deny the I amness that is in you, but you will know the I amness is within you from the experience of feeling it. Another way to express this is look at that mushroom cloud of a nuclear explosion. See how it looks like a brain. Let thine eye be singular and filled with light. It is an explosion. As Neville Goddard puts it, you burst out of your skull, and you're shown everything beyond your imagination. This brings us full circle again. This is exactly what Julia said on Simplicity Revealed channel. She left a comment on one of my videos and mentioned she got a channel, and straight away I thought, well, something's leading me. I need to see what her channel's like, what she's talking about. And there was the key word. What we have coming to us in this linear time is something beyond human imagination. So what does that tell us? To expand our minds. I don't want to find the end. I'm not looking for an edge. I'm living in that moment of potential of what we can radiate out. As Ken Wheeler says, the thing that people are mesmerized, the mushroom cloud, it is the loss of energy where it explodes. But of course, it comes back into itself. Same as our magnetic energy. Whatever you send out will come back. The Word was made flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. The true I amness was made flesh. That's why you have these avatars. But there was nothing made that was not first made. So when you come into this reality, you already have an external background to play in and to grow and to learn in, because it has already been made, because there is nothing made that was not first made. You come into this reality. Not everybody comes in on January the 1st, if you want to take that as the start date of the year. You'll come in, if we see this experience as a calendar year, you could be born in July or December. You could come into this story at any time, and the story has already been playing out, the same as whatever history is that we're told it is. You come into the moment, in the now. That is already there. Now it's finding about how we can weave our way through it, how we can walk through this, how we can make this easier, what we can spread, what we can share, whether we're doing it from a benevolent perspective or whether we're doing it from a selfish perspective. The easiest way to understand this is you flip the script, you flip the polarity. If I say a particular thought to a person, what I vocalize, now if I put myself in the recipient of that message, how would I feel if that was said to me? Think also that our Father who art in heaven, you are all artists, you are all creating, you have a canvas on which to paint. But when you do these language lessons of the heart, you go back to that canvas, and now you are creating a far more beautiful picture to show the world, to show the external world. And yet there is no canvas, there is no brush, and there is no paints, but you are painting the most beautiful picture by creating it yourself, by rewriting the script and overwriting the script. This is shown to you in Hollywood. If an actor takes a bad script and doesn't read that script properly and gets a bad review, that is the death of that actor's career. So take that analogy. The scripts that you are given by the system, I think it's fair to say, are not serving us. They're not in our best interests. But take the script and look at it. Be sure to read it. Now look at what character am I in this script? What part am I playing in this script? Well, I think I can write a far better. I know I can write a far better story because I am. And I create the character I wish to play. And just like in that acting world, don't think you can need to restrict yourself to playing one character. You can play all the characters. Because as